Go live. Okay, everybody start waving and we're ready to go dancing. Here we go, David. Look at this group.
Welcome to the Creativity Show. Alive hour, let it flow.
Unscripted words in a velvet ring. Savvy minds, what they bring. In the glow. Radio Red. Let's go! What sparks your fire? What keeps you moving higher and higher? There we go. I can't believe my dancers. We're going to have to call it the Creative Spark Dancing Show, David and Rado and Kim. That was extraordinary. David, those moves, you really got me back to my old disco days.
I just did a workout.
Well, I'm twice as much impressed. Rado, did you teach him his dance moves or does that come naturally?
I used to actually dance back in the day, so I'm a former dancer.
I am too. I taught thousands of people hustle, Latin, Lindy, and line dances. What do you think?
I was more in a break dance.
Oh, I bet you were.
So.
Kim, were you ever a dancer?
I did. I've learned how to do Latin dancing.
Oh, that's right. That's in your bio, too. Well, I want to welcome all of you. It is July 13th, and all I can say is, where is the year going? I can't believe it. And just so you all know, before I do my formal intro, Harrison Ford, the actor, is 84 today. David, I want you to note that. Cheech Marin is 80. Remember Cheech and Chong?
Yeah.
Okay. Johnny Gilbert, who announced on Jeopardy, this is Johnny Gilbert. He's 98 years old. And the kicker here is Patrick Stewart. Remember from Captain Jean-Luc Picard from Star Trek The Next Generation? He's 86 years old today. And Rado, this is not for you. Today is French Fry Day. It's Beans and Franks Day. And it's Embrace Your Geekness Day. I just want you all to know it's very important. I do those on my morning show. So let me introduce all of you. And when I call your name, just wave. So here we go. Welcome to the Creativity Spark Show, where real life stories alight with akaRadioRed and her Scarlett Mic live streaming. Bright, the strengths of creativity are in our spotlight today, where resilience and commitment are lighting the way. David Finkelstein, wave hello.
Hello.
And Rado, pronounce it again, Pagac?
Hello, Pagac.
Pagac, yes, and Kim Nugent are joining to share how passion sparked their early paths and onward with flair. Their stories show purpose grows when creativity is admired. Join us, tune in, watch, or listen. Enjoy the show, and we know you'll be inspired. David, you're first. I have a special gift for you. Here we go. Dave grew up near Boston, where history sparked his creative flame, turning writing assignments into historical plays that brought him early acclaim. By night, he tended bar at Boston's famed jazz workshop with style and with grace, while law school prepared David for a courtroom's fast-paced race. David built his 40-year criminal law practice with purpose strong and true. Then at 60, he reinvented himself, embracing a fitness-focused point of view. Now ageless Dave inspires others to become their own best me, co-writing his A Better Me, A Better You book with Rado, who's here for all to see. Dave also conquered improv once, despite butterflies in full flight, winning Best New Participant on his first and only improv stage night. His creativity proves our strongest chapters may begin without regard to age, with courage, health, and joy, reflecting Dave's optimism on every page. Dave, I hope you like that.
You knocked it right out of the park.
Thank you, dear. Now, you're welcome. And now I hear the Boston accent. Rado, you're next. Here you go. Rado grew up in Slovakia, where determination shaped his dream. Inspired by action heroes, weightlifting became his lifelong theme. He studied human nutrition while fitness fueled his chosen way, now writing for Men's Health and coaching healthier lives every day. Crossing the Atlantic in 2003, new opportunities came into view, helping his clients build stronger bodies and stronger futures, too. Partnering with Ageless Dave, their shared book encourages readers to see a better me, a better you inspires the best that we each can be. Whether hiking, cycling, dancing, skiing, or lifting with purpose in sight, Rado teaches consistent habits help each client shine bright. Creatively blending science, strength, and encouragement in every routine, he helps those 60 years and older build healthier, stronger bodies, fit and lean. Rado, I hope you enjoyed that.
Oh, it was very beautifully done, and I love the poetry of yours. So,
Thank you. You're very kind. You're very kind. Happy to do it. And Kim, here you are. Kim's been on before, so I had to do a brand new one for her. Kim grew up deep in Texas, where imagination led the way. Her parents taught that dreams begin by practicing every day. A kindergarten teacher said, "Get this young reader a library card right now," opening worlds of possibility that shaped Kim's path. And wow, Kim's first job was in a pie shop where hospitality stole her heart, leading to 5 degrees that set her extraordinary life apart. 10 books later, her first at 60 proved dreams don't retire. At 50, she learned Latin dance, a rhythm for her creative fire. From hospitality to higher ed, then helping prisoners with her grace, Kim discovered untapped potential could shine in every face. As a dream builder coach, she helps new possibilities appear, replacing fear with purpose and helping people persevere. Kim, I hope you like that.
Thank you so much. How lovely.
You're very welcome. My pleasure. So here's the show's over, by the way. I've done enough work here. As we gather around where the cool kids and the cool vibes sway, we're going to dive deep into their creativity today. akaRadioRed's energy lights the way. We hope to inspire you to live large, love life, and play. Okay, kids, how'd I do? What'd you think? Rado, how'd I do?
A
I
10.
think it was amazing. Yeah, 11 out of 10.
I like your math. David, I think you're happy too. David?
Perfect score. Perfect score.
Thank
for
you.
us.
I appreciate that. Now, full disclaimer, I met these 3 wonderful people, these 3, I call you esteemed creatives at a recent national publicity summit. I've been doing the summit for about 15 years now. I invite about 125 people a year from the summit on my show. So I am absolutely delighted to have the 3 of you. Kim, I met before a couple years ago, and Kim pitched me again. So I said, of course, you can come back. And I'm very happy to have you here. But I met David and Rado together, and I've asked them to be in separate places so that I can speak to each of them separately, because you're here as individual guests, even though you co-wrote the book. So we'll talk about that. So what I'd like to do now is go around the table, and what I'm going to do is I control the camera, Dave. So I'm going to put Dave on full screen speaker view, and I'd like you to tell us a little more about your fitness journey and a little more about writing the book. So Dave, and a little bit more about your law practice too. We don't know too much about that. Dave, take a couple minutes and connect the dots for us. Welcome, Dave.
Thank you. Thank you. So I had an ordinary childhood growing up. The only thing that was not ordinary is, while I did have a father, he was away every day of the week and didn't come home till Friday night. And I had very little contact with my father through the years, high school, college, so forth. But he was a good guy. Anyway, I moved out to Framingham and Massachusetts, and went to college and law school. And immediately upon coming out of law school, I became a public defender. So right away, I was doing 80 to 100 criminal law cases a month. Talk about stress. For me, it was very stressful. They were calling me from one courtroom to another in the middle of trials. There were 3 or 4 courtrooms in this courthouse I was assigned to. And throughout my career, it was very stressful because people sitting next to me could go to jail for the crimes they committed for life. Some of them, not all of them, of course. So my health took a terrible turn, terrible turn. You name it, I had it. herniated disc. I had uh, spastic colon. I had uh, high blood pressure. I had diverticulitis. I just had just about every condition you could have. And I knew that I wasn't going to last a lot longer unless I did something about it. So I decided that I'm going to try, but I didn't know what to do because fitness was never part of my life. I never was a member of a health club. I never participated in sports, team sports anyway. So I was a newbie, whatever I was going to do. And there was a gym right behind me that I had ignored for many years from my law office, and I've never been in it. I rode by it almost every day, and I stopped in. And when I stopped in, I saw 4,500 members, not all there at once, but this was a big gym, 4,500 members. And I enrolled and I started on my own, not knowing how I would do. But I found that people were very helpful in a gym. You know, you might think they wouldn't be, but they had succeeded. They wanted you to succeed. After a while, I got a trainer after 4 or 5 months, worked with him for 4 months, and then really made remarkable results. I mean, I did have biceps. I did have muscles in my body. I just needed to work them for them to come out to show. So as the muscles came on and the fat fade away, people came over to me and said, "Hey, how do you do this?" And here I was, just months before what I would call a mess, and people were asking me, the mess, how to do this. And I enjoyed telling them. And I started to think this would be something I could do. I like helping people. I could get rid of my stress and I could help myself in my health and fitness. So I decided that I would enroll in a couple of courses and become a fitness trainer at age 60. Well, the difficult part was ahead of me because I needed to get a job. And you know, people, when you go to various gyms and health clubs, when they see a 60-year-old without any training or without any experience, they're not anxious to hire you. I found one 25 miles away from my house. And every day I would go there 3 days a week. It wasn't full time. And I really enjoyed it. And people were making progress. And I realized I needed something closer, especially with the winters coming on. So I got a job behind, I actually ended up in a job in the very first place I was training. And it was remarkable how much I was able to help people and to bring them into their own little improvements. And then I realized that as I was getting older, that I needed something to pass on to other people because training people one at a time was helpful. But if I could reach a whole audience out there
Mhm.
with a book, and now I'm going to be 80 years old, actually, I'm 83 now, and it's taken me a year and a half. I said, I better get started. So I did, and I wrote this book. I helped with some help from Rado, and I think it's a really good book. And
Dave, do you have the book to hold up for us? Do you have a
it's
copy there?
coming out. Here's the cover of the book.
Oh, beautiful. Hold it up a little higher, a little
Oh,
bit. A better me, a better you. And let me see. Hold it up one more little bit, a couple inches higher. Hold it up, 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 up. There's Rado's name. I just wanted to make sure your name was there. Okay, thank you.
see, I
David,
have such a long.
David, I enjoyed your story very, very much, and you entered into it. I wasn't sure where you were going to go with it, but you told it so beautifully. Well, you courtroom, you know how to tell a story, but you just thank you. That's all I'm trying to say is thank you. That was a very nice way you talked about your own health and getting into it, what you needed to do, and then your inspiration. And nobody would ever believe you're 83. So stop lying about your age, Dave, please. Okay. That we can't tolerate that. Rado, you're up next. I'm putting you on speaker view. I want to hear your side of the story. Take a
Got it.
couple minutes and tell us more. And welcome. Go ahead. You're on.
Oh, thank you. So my beginnings in fitness were quite different compared to David's. I started working out when I was 13 years old. So my first idea of training with weights was after I was bullied at the dancing studio that we worked at when we talked about at the beginning. So I was dancing with all the guys. They started making fun of me and kind of bullying me. So after a few years, I switched from dancing into bodybuilding for that matter of fact, so I could get stronger and now show up those guys what I'm really about. So that was my beginning. I was only 13 years old, and I really fell in love with the sport so much that I decided at that age that this is going to be pretty much my career. So after working out in the basement with a few of my friends, I joined my first gym. I was 16 years old. Reminding you, I'm from Slovakia, where fitness didn't start up until later. It was not very formal. It was not as famous. There was not many options for the gym. So one of the first gyms in a small, especially I grew up in a small town. So having a nice gym in a small town like mine was really hard. So after I joined the gym, 2 years later, I started playing with the idea of competing. So it took me about 3, 4 years after joining the gym that I made my decision to do my first natural bodybuilding show. That was back in 1999. And after the first show, I knew this is the path I want to go. And of course, it was just hand in hand with all the stuff going on in the fitness industry and acting like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, Jean-Claude Van Damme. They were all buffed up dudes, so they were my heroes, and those were the people I looked up to. So of course, knowing that all these people ended up in Hollywood, there was only one way for me to go, and I did everything possible to make a living in the United States. So I started competing here first in 2001, and I got a bunch of invitations for photo shoots. I got a bunch of invitations for the magazine interviews. And 2 years later, after going back and forth from Czech Republic and Slovakia to United States, I made my final decision in 2003, and I moved to United States for good. Started in New York, didn't really turn out as good as I planned in New York. So instead of returning back home and calling it a failure, I moved over to California, West Coast, and that hit the spot. So that was the best place for me to move to because of all the opportunities and because of how people really loved working out. And it was really like this is the area where people really take care of their bodies, and their image is pretty much number one thing. So I knew this was the place for me. And then kept competing from 2003. Actually, I took 2 years break from 2003 to 2005 to establish myself and start making some living different ways, such as house cleaning and window cleaning and house sitting just to get by, but still keeping my dream to break into fitness industry again. And took me about 7 years when I opened my first gym, kept competing. And the same year when I opened my gym, I also got my citizenship, American citizenship. So for me, it was like a double win. And since then, I kept competing and running my business. That's how I met David as one of my clients back in 2017, if I'm not mistaken. And that's how our collaboration started. First, we had this idea already back, I think, even before COVID, 2018, 2019, when David was having his little podcast. I was one of the guests on his podcast. And from then we started talking, hey, we both have a lot of information that we have gathered through past years. How about if we just join our forces and create something that can help people to better their lives? And here's the book that we came up with 3 years later.
Thank you. Wonderful story. Talk about perseverance, Rado, and persistence and having a goal in mind and figuring out where do I need to be, where will I be the most successful in my own goals and help the people around me too. I'm very, very impressed. Thank you. By the way, Kim knows this, you all know this, and to my viewers and listeners, when I meet people at the Publicity Summit, I'm given 2 minutes on the clock for them to pitch me. And what you all may not know is that while you were speaking to me on camera in the breakout room, I was in 17 breakout rooms that night for 3 hours, I was typing away madly while you were talking So I was writing down your story to decide if I wanted to invite you, and I did. So I had just a little snippet of information about each of you in my notes when I said, would you like to be on the show? So I didn't know much about you. And then, of course, I got your origin stories and more about you in the deliverables before the show. But I was just wanted to say that I met the two of you, David and Rado, were together in one breakout room on one
Yeah.
stage, basically.
This is the first time we are divided. We were not happy about. We almost cried. We're not gonna be together in the same room, but
With,
we made it.
Well, I appreciate that because I wanted to speak to you individually because I want you each to shine as your own star, and that's the reason. But I met you together, and it broke my heart too. I have to give Kim the mic now. Kim Nugent, welcome back, Dr. Kim, and I want to put you on speaker view. And why don't you tell us your story? And welcome back. Go ahead.
Well, thank you so much. You started out by the introduction, obviously, that my mom taught me at an early age to read. And then when I went to kindergarten, the teacher said, she's read everything that we have. You need to get her a library card. And I didn't know that was out. I didn't know that was different than any other person. So I did. And once my mom took me, I still can remember walking in to the library, and I had never seen so many books in my entire life. And then they had all these different, areas in the bookstore, and I just consumed everything. And then I started as a kid, really, my mom knew I liked reading, and so then I collected all the Nancy Drew mystery stories and all. I mean, I had the whole collection, and that probably doesn't mean anything to anybody, but at that time, that
It
was a
does
big
to
deal.
me, dear. It does to me. Okay, go ahead. Continue.
So then I went through this autobiography phase, and I mean, meaning biography phase of really historical people and all that. So, as you said, one of the things that I learned, I was very fortunate. At an early age, I found the love for hospitality through this pie shop, and that I went to school, earned my degree in hotel and restaurant management. And what happened my first semester was Dr. Raymond Goodman actually inspired me to one day want to be a faculty member. But at the same time, when I was working in hospitality, there's one thing that's made the biggest difference in my life, and that is having a mentor. And Barbara McDonald was that mentor for the next 16 years. And talk about helping me professionally and personally. That was everything. And I eventually did become a faculty member and then a university president. And when I became a university president, the interesting thing for me was I knew Barbara had died, but I also knew at that point I was in a different place in my career and I needed a new mentor. And I had a new mentor who, again, at a completely different level for a variety of things, helped me. And so teaching was something I could do. I'm quite good at it, actually, but I would say that people would often say to me, hey, Kim, you need to write a book. And what's different than most people is I said no. And what happened was, I said, what I actually said was, I'm never writing a book. And I said, I'll talk all day long. Now, here I have 10 books later. But what I think is so fascinating is, moments happen. And then if you say yes to something, it changes everything. And the minister at church, I was in church that day, and he had written a book. And he brought the person he had written this book with, and it made a difference. And I went to the workshop and thought the doors of writing open. And now I can't imagine not writing. It's just the most amazing thing. But I also think that I find creativity in a lot of things. Before I ever wrote my first book, I found, most people might find this hard to believe, but I find creativity in planning meetings. I put a lot of effort into it. I have themes and colors. And when you come, you're well taken care of. That's my service background, because I want to make sure I really give you everything you need during that time. And I have fun with it, and they have fun. And but I will also say that the interesting thing is it's never too late to be creative, even if you think you aren't. I didn't write my first book until I was 60. I didn't learn to dance until I was 50. And I always say, what's going to happen next at 70? Who knows? But, I can't wait, because what reading those books and getting that library card did for me, it opened a world of possibility.
Thank you very much. We want to know, what are the titles of some of your books? What's your newest one, Kim? You have it there? Hold
Oh,
it up.
yes, of course I do.
Of course you do.
Of course I do. It's
Rado
right
can't wait
here.
to see this here. A prison. Oh, and briefly tell us about how you got involved with the prison system.
So half of my books are really focused on mentorship for different audiences. And so I was visiting a school, I was on a board, and they had opened a prison inside, they had opened a high school inside of a prison, which is unusual in Texas. And I went to visit that and talk to the women, and a variety of different things happened. But someone who had been doing meditation work asked me if I would consider writing a book on mentorship in prisons. I said yes, hung up the phone, thought, what the heck did I say yes to? Because I have no idea. And I went on this 4-year research journey before I wrote my first word.
Wow. Okay. Very, very interesting. What? Give me one more book that you've written. One more of your collection. What have you got?
Mhm. Probably right now, given that it's summertime, paving your path, what's next for high school students. So they
Ah.
have lots of choices. This is a good time for them to determine where do they want their life to go.
Very interesting. Thank you very much. I'm delighted to have the three of you here. Let's go to the part of the show. I'm going to my notes. I only have, let me see, I only have 17 pages of notes today. That's just about average, Dave. I'm going to read the quote you sent me. I've asked you each to pick a fictional quote from a movie or a TV show character or a song lyric. I did a little research on them, and I'm going to ask you to very briefly, let's keep it to about 2 minutes because we've got a lot to cover, and we're about halfway through the show, and I'm enjoying your stories very much. I want you to tell us what this has to do with your own creativity. So, Dave has picked a quote from Jerry, Gerry Lane, played by the wonderful Brad Pitt. The movie is World War Z. It's a 2013 apocalyptic action horror film. That's an interesting genre. Jerry is a former UN crisis investigator. Early in the film, during the initial chaos of the zombie outbreak, Jerry and his family take temporary shelter inside a New Jersey, excuse me, I'm from New York, I can say that, New Jersey apartment building. They're taken in by a Spanish-speaking family. Knowing that staying behind means certain death, he tries to convince the father to flee with them, and on and on. And the quote Dave has picked, I'm not surprised, is Movimiento es vida. Movement is life. Dave, I'm putting you back on speaker view. Just take 2 minutes and tell us how you picked that quote for your creativity. Go ahead.
So, as you said, the zombies are closing in on these people, and Brad Pitt gives these family that he's with an option of coming with him before the zombies break down the door and infect them. And they decide to stay. And he says, movement is life, and people who move survive, and people who don't die. And he takes off with his family. My writing and creativity and health all depends on one word, movement. Because when you rest, you rust. And that applies to your body as well as to your automobiles. You don't use your automobile and leave it out into the elements, it's going to rust. If you don't use your body, you're not going to be able to provide good intelligence, and it will rust. So I have taken to writing, and I found that the best way to do it was to get out into the fresh air, because there's so much that the fresh air will do for your body rather than sitting behind a keyboard crunched over. Because when you do that, your body is degrading. You want to expand your body and especially your mind. So what happens when you're walking? You're breathing fresh air, oxygenated blood. As you step up your pace, your heart rate goes up, pumping more blood to you. It reaches your brain. You're breathing heavily. You're thinking about things, and all of a sudden, ideas come to you. They come
Mm.
to you much easier than inside of a stale air room in your study trying to figure out what you're going to say in your next paragraph in your writing.
David,
So
thank you.
I do have an old-fashioned way of jotting down ideas
We're going to wait,
because
wait. That's going to come in the creativity segment. We're
oh
not there yet. We're
so
not there yet. So wait for that.
so I then walk every day that I wrote this book to a coffee shop, which was 1 mile exactly
You're
away.
going to talk about that in the creativity statement
Okay,
because
okay,
I've got that already tagged up for you to
okay.
talk about what you
So,
do and how you do it. So I love what you're saying, but it's too soon. Hold it. In about 15 minutes, we'll get to it. Okay.
okay.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to go to Rado. I love the quote, by the way. Rado has picked a quote from the Terminator, who, if you don't know and have been sitting under a rock for 25 or 35 or 45 years, is a cyborg assassin played by Arnold. This is from the 1984 sci-fi film, The Terminator. I don't know if you know this, Rado, but in 2005, the statement that you picked, which I'll read in a second, was ranked number 37 on the American Film Institute's 100 Years, 100 Best Movie Quotes. So this is number 37. That's pretty high up. And Schwarzenegger uses the same line in some variation on many of his later films. He first used it in The Terminator. He is refused entry to the police station where his targets, Sarah Connor and Kyle Reese, are being detained. He surveys the counter, tells the police desk sergeant, and here's the quote Rado has picked, "I'll be back." Okay, Rado, I'm going to stop reading and put you on screen again. And why don't you tell us how you picked this and what this has to do with your creativity? Go ahead.
Well, I actually picked two. I picked I'll be back and come with me if you want to live. So more of my creativity comes with the second quote, which is come with me if you want to live, because it kind of resonates with what I'm doing with my clients. A lot of people who are older, they kind of struggle through end of their lives because they have a lot of issues. They have a lot of health problems, and I've seen a lot of people in old folk homes. They are not living; they're surviving. And I kind of take it as a motto: if you do something for your health at early stage of your life, we're not talking only about people who are over 60 or over 70. The earlier you start, the better chance in older age you have to live your life. So, and that's why I it really resonates with what I do, because I try to take people on my journey, and I try to teach them how to live better lives so they can go travel at a later stage of their lives. They can go still work out. They still go enjoy their grandkids when they get into certain age. And a lot of people nowadays, they are looking forward to a retirement, and some of them, they don't even get to live that long to enjoy that retirement. And a lot of it has got to do with people having stressful jobs, people taking care of everything else but not themselves. And if you get to that point, David realized soon enough in his stage of his life that, I need to do some change. And that's what I'm trying to teach my clients and try to teach the audience I reach out to, that it's never too late. That's why I more resonate with the other quote, which got
Okay.
a lot of to do with my life. Come with me if you want to live, if you
Was
want
that
to
quote
enjoy your
from the
life.
movie too, Rado?
It
Was that?
was it was from Terminator 2,
I
yes.
didn't see that. I am so sorry, but I'm glad you mentioned it. I like the "I'll be back" because, in a way, that can resonate also with your clients who have not exercised, who have not paid attention to their bodies. And you're saying to them, say to yourself, "I'll be
I'll be
back.
back. So
I'm
they would
coming
be back.
back to
Exactly.
my health." There you go. See, I like to help spin things. We just spun around there as long as nobody got dizzy. Thank you for the quotes. Kim, it's up to you now. Kim has picked a quote from, it's actually a biopic, a biographical drama film. It's Chris Gardner, played by Will Smith, and the movie is from 2006. And it is the pursuit of happy, Happyness. Chris Gardner was a struggling salesman who went from being homeless in San Francisco to a successful Wall Street stockbroker position while raising his young son alone. He had a difficult life navigating the streets, going to shelter to shelter to shelter. And the title of the book is based on a mural he saw outside his son's daycare. Happiness with an Happy. Here's the quote Kim has, and you're going to tell us what this has to do with your creativity. Quote is, "You got a dream, you got to protect it. A perfect expression of holding your vision even when others cannot see it." Kim, tell us a little more, please. Go ahead.
100%. So the reason I see that every place that I work is that when you have a vision and you're pulled by that vision, no matter who your circle of friends or family are, trying to keep you safe and like seeing it's not a possibility, you have to protect that vision so that you can achieve it. And I've seen it happen over and over and over again. So to me, it's so inspiring because I know it's possible for everyone.
Thank you very much. And how do you relate this to your clients when you go into the prisons to mentor? Is this something you tell them that you've got a dream, you got to protect it? Is it never too late?
We work on visioning, we work on mindset, we work on creating a life that they actually can see for themselves when they're released. So 100% yes.
Thank you very much. And now I want to thank all three of you for the quotes, and I'm going to go to your creativity statements. I'm going to pick a couple here from each of you, and this is going to be a real round table. We're going to keep it brief. So, Dave, I'm picking your statements number 1 and number 2, and I'm going to read them. You don't have to find them. It's okay. I've got everything here. And then I want you to just take 2 minutes and explain, just unpack them basically. And then I'm going to ask Rado and Kim to each comment and tell me if this resonates with each of you. So we'll see what we have in common and what's unique. So Dave says, I am most creative early in the mornings, beginning with a walk to a local coffee shop near my house. See, Dave, I wasn't ready for it. And then you say, I'm at my peak creativity when I'm relaxed, unscripted, and in the moments. I am an idea generator. I can connect the dots between seemingly random, unrelated concepts and aspects. Dave, I'm turning it over to you. 2 minutes. Let's keep it tight and let's see what your co-panelists have to say. So, Dave, go ahead.
So the best part of my day is the morning. Writing this book has made me get up at 7 o'clock and out of bed and into a coffee shop by 8:30 and writing. My creativity is greatest then, and I attribute that to the walk that I do, and I mindfully breathe in fresh air and breathe out toxic air. And I think, and I think it's important to create, in order to create, is to observe. And what I observe is people, older people that can't walk, their strides are very short, they need to rest. I observe people with really bad eating habits, eating along the way, eating junk food, which is, might as well be called poison for the body. And I observe people not taking care of themselves, not taking care of themselves. Meanwhile, when I get there, I am a social animal. I not only get my coffee, but I talk to people about their day. What are they planning to do? Are they into health? What's part of their program? What do they hope to accomplish? Because we live in the richest country in the world with the best healthcare, the best doctors, and the best facilities, and our healthcare stinks.
We're not going to get into
Okay.
that. That's not
Okay.
our topic. But what I'm
So
going to do
all
is,
I'm saying is
yep.
that I take the ideas of what people say, what I observe, I put them together. I'm able to connect the dots and create. And that's what I've done. I created this book.
And what you said, I become a social animal. That to me was the key of your creativity. You talk to people, you engage them, you share your ideas, you ask them what their day is like. That to me was the beautiful part. Rado, any comments on what David just talked about? And then
Oh,
Kim, what do you think?
I completely agree with David because that's pretty much part of my way to find what to write about and what the ideas are talking to. I mainly work with clients and the same thing, try to connect with them on that level, trying to learn about their habits, trying to learn about their daily routines. So I know how to turn the training around to fit their best
Yes.
needs. So
Yes. So your creativity is finding out what other people need and then creating for them.
pretty
Kim,
much based on them. Yeah.
Kim, I bet you do the same thing in your mentoring in the prisons and other places, and probably as a college president and as a teacher for all those years. Talk to us a little bit about that, Kim. What do you think?
Well, I agree with Dave. I write best in the morning, but where my ideas come from are on the yoga mat.
Talk to me. Go ahead.
Yes.
Tell us.
So when I'm at yoga, I do not compare myself with anyone else. I'm totally in the zone. And all I do is if I can get everything else out of my head, and I can, then all of a sudden, literally, I have a download of ideas. And it's the most amazing 1 hour I give myself.
I like that. I like that a lot. And I'll share with all of you, Dave, I am mostly sedentary because I do 7 live streaming shows a week. And my prep, as you all know, is extensive. I have about 350 guests a year. And I also am a professional moderator for 5 hour technology courses online where I cannot leave my desk for 4 to 5 hours at a time, except for a 10-minute break. So I have to be here. But I've recently added something that makes me happy. And let me see what you all think about this. I'm a kid from the disco era, okay? And I recently created my own playlist, not just on YouTube, but on my local music player on my computer. I spent the weekend picking songs that make me want to move, that make me want to move my feet, move my arms, move my face, get my heart pumping. And I've created for myself, this is brand new, a program. And the songs are crazy, like Diggity, 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 Hey. I don't know if you've ever heard that one. Bambolê, which is a Latin song. A lot of the Brazilian hot dancers on Facebook are using these music. One Way Ticket to the Blues by Tanya Thomas. These are songs with a strong beat, a lot of action in them. And these are now my sit and exercise in between and be happy. Rado, you want to comment on that quickly? I haven't said this in public to anybody yet.
Wow.
Here I go.
You
What
know,
do you?
that's the best way how you can connect your body with your brain,
Yes,
correct?
yes,
So look at Zumba. Zumba was based on it. Zumba was
yes,
made for people who don't like to exercise, but they like
yes,
the music. So
yes. And a lot of this
yeah,
is
I
Is
can
Zumba
totally
music
agree.
too.
Yeah,
A lot of this is Zumba music I'm using. Absolutely. David, quick. David,
whatever
any?
it takes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I have a comment here. Rado and I have begun a second book, and it's perfect for you because these are exercises you could do at your desk. Your day
Send it to
doesn't end
me.
once you walk into the studio. You can do a full set of exercises and never leave your desk.
That's what I want.
So it's
That's what
going to
I
be
need.
called No Excuses, and it's coming out in December.
You're going to send me the ebook, please, Rado. Will
Yes,
you
we
take?
will.
You will. I appreciate that very much. I haven't told anybody that in public, but I'm having such a good time. I have a method which I'll tell you after the show of how I get this all done. But I played this playlist. I even have Donna Summer MacArthur Park Suite in
Mm,
there, and heaven knows. And I have to tell you, I was a competitive hustle dancer, Rado, back in the day. I
wow.
was a stage dancer and I had a professional partner, and we entered a Disco Hawaii contest in Eugene, Oregon at the Copacabana, which was a nightclub in Eugene. And we came in third, but I was about 97 pounds and we made our own outfits and we danced to Heaven Knows. And we came in from opposite sides of the floor. Dum, da, dum, 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 dum. He picked me up and lifted me over his head, did a full 360 twice spin, death drop to the floor, spun me around 6 inches off my skirt, was a black satin. I made it where it tied at the waist and it was a complete 360 circle, high heels, black stockings, and a little hammered silk blue spaghetti strap top. It was gorgeous. And then we did our routine and it was just those were the days. Those were really the days. So I love that music. Anyway, I'm getting carried away here. Let's go to Rado. I want to talk about your creativity statements. We got a little time left. Not a lot, but a little. You say, I am most creative on the chairlift at Mammoth Mountain. The steady, quiet ascent over a pristine white landscape helps to clear my mind. I consider nature my muse. A snow-covered mountain peak and the blue ocean helps keep my mind clear and my energy high. This is like a poem, Rado. This is beautiful. Take 2 minutes, expand this, and then we'll quickly see what Kim first and then Dave have to say. Go ahead, Rado.
Well, basically, it's almost the same like Dave's. He is enjoying the fresh air to get oxygen in his head to kind of open up his brain cells to think clearer and louder. And the same with me when I'm in the mountains because I love skiing. Besides working out, I do a lot of skiing. I do a lot of swimming. So those are the places that I can check out. As soon as I get to the mountains or as soon as I get to the beach, it's my time. There is no people around, there is no clients, there is nobody bothering me. I shut down my phone And that's the time when I can kind of come up with certain ideas. Either if it's for new workout routines for my clients, or a lot of times when I was on the mountain, David always sent me, "Hey, Rado, did you see this? Did you see that?" So he sent me these little snippets, little clips of videos or articles that this is the time when I can actually read it and go through it and put my ideas together and kind of like twist it towards the angle to our book and make sure that we can use these ideas for later. And same when I'm at the beach. Another place also when I can put my mind into working is when I swim, because swimming is pretty boring. So you go doing laps back and forth, and that's the time when I open my brain cells and start to brainstorm about certain ideas.
Thank you. And I've had some guests recently on the show talk about they do some of their best thinking in the shower. And I researched that. And it's because typically the water in the shower is close to body temperature. Typically you have no interruptions, we hope, or forget about that, in the shower. And the white noise of the water, it just clears everything for them and they start thinking about creative ideas. Let's just talk about nature and pristine mountains and all of that briefly. Kim, does this resonate with you? And then Dave, let's keep it real tight because I want to get to Kim's statements. Go ahead, Kim.
Absolutely. I'll say 100% I agree with them.
Oh, okay. Well, that was short and sweet. What do you like, the pristine mountains or the chairlift or what part of that? Tell me.
I think when he was talking about swimming and working out where there's not a lot of thinking. So because there's no thinking, that's when creativity can happen.
I like
Correct,
that.
yeah.
Dave, you too?
So after arriving at the coffee shop where I have been breathing deeply on the way down and picking up my pace, so my heart is stimulating and beating, and my brain is activated, and the blood is now flowing. I sit down. The first thing I do is go over and get a cup of coffee. Now, there's a reason that I get a cup of coffee because, as most people know, it stimulates you. It's the caffeine in the coffee.
Yep.
And you've heard so many people say, I can't get my day going until I have my first cup of coffee. And that's what happened. I stimulate further my brain. Now my brain's on fire.
Yep.
And these people at this particular coffee shop are kind enough to set a table aside in the corner for me. And
Aw,
they don't have table service, but they bring me my
because
coffee.
you're so special.
Oh
That's
man, how does it get any better than
it
that?
doesn't. It
So
absolutely by the
I
way.
have to create at this point, otherwise I'm a failure. So
Well,
I have
Dave,
created.
Dave, dear, there's nothing about you that even remotely comes close to the word failure. So let's just get that out of your vocabulary. I have to move on, but thank you for that. By the way, I can't do caffeine anymore. I bounce off the ceiling for 2 hours, even with decaf. So I'm relegated to water and milk and decaf tea. That's about all I can do, herbal tea. I can't do coffee anymore. It just, Rado, the caffeine just goes right through my body, and I literally am. And people have told me I don't need caffeine or drugs because I'm just naturally high. But you figured that one out already. Okay, let's go to Kim. Kim, I'm going back to the original creativity statement you sent me, and this is a little more on the philosophical side, but we have about 2 minutes for this, and I want you to just address this, please. You say, my creativity is rooted in witnessing transformation. The moment someone steps into who they were meant to be, I bring this creativity to life through my tools, my insight, and brave conversations. Let's just 2 minutes, Kim, talk about those brave conversations. Are we having one of those right now? And what does that do for you creatively? Tell us.
Well, one of the things that I think is important, and I don't know if everybody knows about what the research says, but if you have something on your mind before you go to bed, the last 45 minutes, you've turned off all your devices and you actually think about that, you can solve problems that way. And usually what happens for me from a creativity standpoint is at 3 o'clock in the morning, I might be thinking of a new idea, a new workshop, a new book, a new blog, whatever. And I get a download. And it is amazing if you can really train yourself to do that really easy. And it's easy. That's the best part about the whole thing.
Thank you very much. Very interesting. In the middle of the night, the last thing you do before you go to bed. Where'd Dave go? Dave's video disappeared for a second there. I think he's there somewhere. Okay, Rado, do you have anything resonates with what Kim just said about your creativity?
Oh, for me, it's a little too early. Like at 3:30, it would not be time for me. But I'm an early riser. But at 3:30 to start thinking about my future goals and day, it's a little too early.
Kim, I have to tell you, in high school, I took advanced placement math, I think, as a junior. And I will tell you that sometimes I couldn't solve the problem during the day, and I would leave a pad of paper and a pen or a pencil next to my bed. I think Dave is gone. He'll come back, I hope. And it must have been his connection, but we're fine. And I used to sometimes wake up in the middle of the night and write the answer, Rado, to the math problem on the piece of paper next to my bed because it just spins, doesn't it, Kim? It just spins and
Absolutely.
spins and spins. And that's the way it goes. I don't know where most of my creative ideas come. I think it's just in the morning. It's not coffee and it's not running and it's not skiing and it's not a workout. But I woke up in December and I said, I need to start a new show. And then I said to myself, what kind of show? Well, I already have my technology show on Wednesdays. I have this show on Mondays. What do I want to do? I said, well, I want to do a daily show. Well, why would I want to do a daily show? I want to do something fun. Okay, so I'll do 4.5 minutes a day. What am I going to call it? Say what? Good news. So I went in and created the music, created the background, worked with my AI companion, got her ideas, and created it on my own from from a little bit of what she told me. I am now in week number 30, and I do 5 of these a week, Monday through Friday. It satisfies my urge to research, to learn more, to share things with people. I have the time of my life. It wakes up my brain in the morning. I come in here at 8:30. I'm all dressed up. I've got everything going. I start the live stream and I talk for 4.5 minutes. And you know what I do, Rado? When it's done, I watch the show and I smile. I
You make
get a
yourself smile. That's good.
I get a kick out of it. David is back. I'm going to let him back because we've got about 3 minutes left. Let's see if we can get him back. And he just says Zoom. You have to teach him how to put his name on Zoom. We'll have to take care of that. Where is he? David, are you back? David, I think he's having problems with his. Yeah, I'm going to rename him. Let's just name him David and F. That's all I have time for, so we know who he is. Okay, he's not. David, can you hear me? David? No, he's all muted. Everything's off. Here he comes. Red, you there, dear?
I'm here.
Okay, we can't see you yet, but we can hear you, so that's good enough. So you missed a little bit, but we're still there. You are. He's not ageless, Dave. He's handsome, Dave. There you are. You're back. Thank you very
Bless
much.
you.
You knew I would let you back. Okay, so I want to read a couple quotes to all of you. We got about 3 minutes left. So here's a quote from Lucy Maud Montgomery. I don't think any of you have heard. Well, maybe Kim does. She's a Canadian author who wrote a novel in 1908 called Anne of Green Gables. And chapter 19, you're going to love this. The title of chapter 19 was A Concert, a Catastrophe, and a Confession. Wow. There's a lot of good words in there. And she wrote the following, and this is about creativity for all of us. Something just flashes into your mind, so exciting, and you must out with it. If you stop to think it over, you spoil it all. How about that? That's just act on it. Right, Rado? Right, Dave? Right, Kim? When an idea comes, do something with it. Write it down, jot it down, put it on a sticky note, put it away, sing a song about it, walk it to the coffee shop, tell somebody. Just do something with it. And then I have a quote from Rapunzel from the 2010 3D computer animated musical adventure fantasy comedy film, Hello, starring Mandy Moore. And she said, venture outside your comfort zone. The rewards are worth it. I think we've all been there. And of course, the Rolling Stones said you can't always get what you want, but if you try, sometimes you'll get what you need. We all know that song. So let me go to my closing. I have a quick here, a poem I want to read all of you that I'm dedicating to you. I belong to an online poetry group, and I write every Wednesday. And during April and November, we have a daily prompt from the moderator. And so I've written about 800 poems. And this one I wrote on July 24th, 2024. It's an acrostic where the prompt from the moderator was the word night shift. NIGHTSHIFT. So I wrote a poem where I have the N and then the I and the G and a line starts with each word, each letter of the word. And I'm going to read it quickly, and I dedicate this to all of you. Never quite really at rest. It's the life of a creative. Going, gripping, gyrating, growling, groaning, growing. Highs and lows flowing on a mental Mobius strip. The days are the nights are the days again. Shifting off and on, into and out of gear, hoping for unique brilliance even once. It's a calling, command, curse, roller coaster, finding eureka, euphoria amid frustration and fears. Thus is the life of the creative. And I dedicate that to the three of you, my good friends. And now I'm going to go to my closing, and then we'll have the music, but stick around. We'll talk afterwards. In 2014, Kim, I closed my show with the top 10 tips for women. And the number one before the movie was aspire to be Barbie. The biatch has everything. We're just going to leave that one alone. And in the intervening years, she got herself a movie. Here we go. Closing. Life is short. Break the rules. Everybody agree with that one? Forgive quickly. I haven't figured that one out yet. Kiss slowly. That I know. Love truly. Laugh uncontrollably. Everybody laugh with me. 1, 2, 3. Oh, you could do better. And never, ever, Dave, never regret anything that made you smile. Here's my final words. Work like you don't need the money. Dance like no one's watching. Oh, when I was teaching dancing, everybody watched. What legs? Sing like nobody's listening. I didn't sing today. And love like you've never been hurt. We all have. Let your heart regenerate, regroup, regrow. Come back and love again. Money talks, chocolate sings, la. And last but not least, I stole this line from somebody years ago. Thank you for turning me on. Let's go out with our music here. Here we go. Almost done. Velvet ring.
Savvy minds on the line they bring. Producer and host in the glow.
That's me.
akaRadioRed, let's go. Tell me what it is that sparks
Sparks your fire. Thank you all. It's been lovely. Wave goodbye.